like a hippie payback.
Are you on a cycle?
I don't.
Shut up.
Yes.
So I'm working
like
that through ya?
I'm
Like
working
that.
with. No, I was going to say something and went no. Too much information. I'm working with Akmal tomorrow night, right?
Oh.
And last time I worked with him was my worst ever gig in the history of Ellen gigs.
Wow.
The worst ever, right? And so working with him again is going to be. It's a bit.
Did he see the set?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but he's the
How
nicest,
come it was the
he's the
worst?
nicest man in the world. Okay, so it was advertised as Akmal and it was put on by someone else. So the MC kind of didn't really say that there was going to be a support act. I was the support act. And so the MC has whipped them into this frenzy, really great MC, and then goes, please welcome to the stage a very good friend of mine. They're all like, oh, here he goes. She goes, Ellen Briggs. They're all like, fucking who?
Oh.
What? Oh,
Right.
there's a support.
No.
And so the chairs start getting scraped back. People, I'm going to the bum, fucking listen to this chick,
I've
all
been
that sort of
dragged
stuff.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I get on stage and panic. I would do things completely different now. I was maybe 3 years into it, I panicked and started really trying to rush my material and I was just punching out the punchline. I was just saying things that make no sense and I was scared, like trying to get them like, no, don't go. And they can tell. They can tell if you're scared. So most of them just went to the bar and then I was supposed to do 20 minutes and I think I probably did 10 and just went, I can't do this anymore. And I got off and I get the slow clap, of one guy.
That would have been me.
It was horrible. And I go back to
Really?
where Akmal's standing and he goes, that was really good, Ellen. I just went, really? Serious? And I'd driven him there and I just went, Akmal, look, I really want to watch your gig, but I cannot stay in here. I'm just going to go and slam my head against the steering wheel. So I'll see you in the car, right?
Just imagine that.
And look at
Cindy,
you now.
imagine that.
So bad.
It's you, a spotlight. You can barely see the crowd.
Yeah.
But you can feel
The energy.
that you're
The
sucking.
hatred.
And
It's horrible. It's horrible.
And look at you now, though. You said that was 3 years into it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that moment like
That has been my worst one. I'm trying to think of some other.
it's quite.
Oh, you have bad nights. You have bad nights where your rhythm's a little bit off. But I think once you become, you'd be the same as a muso. Like you have nights where you go, that wasn't great. We didn't do it right. But maybe the audience don't notice.
Yeah.
So I have nights like that where I go, I didn't really deliver that properly, or I left a bit out, or I couldn't really find my rhythm. But people will go, that was unreal, because they don't really know what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
They don't really know what you can do.
Yeah.
You know
gigs
what I mean?
become highs and lows, and the middle ones are just never as good as that high.
Yes.
And that feeling where you made yourself laugh maybe or something. It's like, wow, that was awesome.
Or ones where you really have to work for, your gig the other night, that was a beautiful gig because it was just easy. Everyone was into it. They were there for it.
They were
From the minute I said my
100%.
first gag, they were like, it's almost like they relaxed and went, okay, yeah, she's funny. She's fine, And
it's a nice, small,
It was
intimate
nice.
venue, isn't
Yeah.
it? And everyone's
And I could see them all. There was that one little old dude near the bar, though, who just
with
had
the hat?
angry face just staring at me the
I
whole
know.
time.
He was smashed.
Yeah.
And I was just, this is another thing. I saw a great cartoon one time of, the audience at a comedy show, and it was, all these laughing faces, like just a sketch drawing, all these laughing faces, and then what the comedian sees at a comedy show, and it's one person.
Yeah, right.
And you kind of hone in on them because you go, I'm going to break him. I'm going to make him laugh. I'm going to make him laugh. He didn't laugh. The old dude didn't laugh at all.
And did you
I know
notice
exactly who you're
hardly
talking about.
anyone, I reckon there was over 100 at peak, like when you were there.
Yeah.
They only came to see you. Only, I reckon, about 5 people dared go to the bar and get a drink in that hour.
Yeah, which is
No
fine
one.
with me. Like, that's all. I'm not one of those comedians. I think I was talking to the sound guy. What was his name?
Dan.
Yeah. And I was saying how I actually hate being a part of a comedy night like that where people feel really uncomfortable and they get hammered by the comedian. I mean, if they're going to be an asshole in the crowd, then, fair game. But just to sort of hassle someone because of the way they look or because they're getting a drink or going to the loo,
You
I
did
just
that-
will never do that.
Do you
Oh, the
remember
guy with the phone.
His phone rang 3 times, and he had the big long
He had the big
ponytail.
plait.
You
You
did
were
it
so
so
funny.
perfect.
That
it
was perfect.
It's your
That
hairdresser.
was
I just couldn't
perfect.
resist. When he turned around, because he's like trying, he looks like a dude that can't really work a
Yeah.
smartphone. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
banging on it with his big, like tradie finger. Fucking hell.
Yeah. He
Dude.
told me later that it was after the second call, it was his mates up the back ringing him from the smoking area.
I love them. I love those
That's
mates. That's
hilarious.
really
They're
funny.
trying to mess him up.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that
That's
was
so
really
funny.
funny. And he
Yeah.
was a good sport.
But you
and
did it. It was hilarious.
I'm not going to be mean to him.
It's your hairdresser.
Yeah.
So I must say, guys, as far as the idea that I must cannot take credit, it came from Drew's days back in Sydney in the strip,
Yeah.
hub. I'm
Strip
sure
club.
it was strip hub down King's Cross. You had said to me, and you can't deny this, that comedy and covers was massive back in the day.
Oh.
So I was like, fuck,
That
a
sounds like
really
some
good
bullshit
idea
that I would
to have.
speak.
It is a really good idea.
That sounds like a lie I would create to get a gig.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I went with it. I'm like, comedy and covers. That's fucking awesome.
It is a
Let's
good
do
idea.
this. And then
And I remember
saw
when I
you.
was talking to you and you were saying, okay, we thought we'd get you up for maybe half an hour and let the band do a set. And then I just went, no, that's not going to happen. Because can you imagine trying to,
Yeah, no.
and I've seen that. I've been at gigs where it's been like that. Yeah. Actually, here's another not great gig, but it's all in the planning, This was a corporate for Lend-Lease, so it's mostly builders, road workers, and they started at 5:30. They said to me, you'll be on about 8:30. I walk in and there's this band playing. It never even been your band. It was all cover music. And they were singing Living Next Door to Alice. And the whole room was like, who the fuck is Alice? But they're just having the best time ever on the dance floor. And then they go, you're on after this song. And I just went, are you fucking serious? You're going to stop them having this awesome time. Oh, look, let's listen to the lady up the front now.
Yeah.
Like, you dickheads.
It's like two parts of the brain. When you told Cindy that, I went, yeah, you actually, and then I freaked out. I went, hang on a minute. We've got to create a comedy room, which I haven't been to a lot, to be honest, like barely. But I know that your comedy gets better when people are listening and you're not what's the word? No one's messing you up,
Yeah.
So that's a comedy room. You just get funnier and funnier, and the crowd's like, yes.
And when they're close to you, like that's where I was saying to Cindy, don't leave a dance floor. Like that's called the comedy pit of death, like your
same with
gags
bands.
go in there and go, dum, and just die on the dance floor.
Same with music. I always push their tables and chairs around. You can see if they left the tables and chairs. People sit over there. And it's too much. If no one's going to dance, knowing that they're the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like,
I did have the chairs all pushed up, but
Does it bug you how
but they moved.
it really bugs me the more shows I do that I'm like, wish they'd know this. I wish some people, to make a really good room work.
Yeah, it doesn't actually bug me, but I do. Sometimes I feel like because I'll walk into a room and go, "Oh, can we just quickly fix this?" I did a room the other night where it was quite nice actually. It was kind of in the foyer actually of this place, and it had two big stairwells on either side, and they'd set up the chairs with an aisle in the middle. The stage was kind of at the back, but then they'd put these chairs at the front that were a lot more like footstools. So no backs on them. And there were like 2 rows of them. Well, nobody sat on those. They sat on the first row of chairs with backs on them. So
It's a long time to sit like that uncomfortably.
Yeah. And they also had to leave a spot at the start of the stage because you had to walk across in front of the stage to get to the loos. So I had this good 10-metre gap between me and the first row of people who then I couldn't see because the spot's in your eyes. And I sort of said to them, can we quickly move those chairs and pull the chair? Oh, no, it's too late. People are already coming in. And I just went, yeah, that's a bit shit, So I really had to work hard, which going back to what we were saying before about good gigs and bad gigs, when you have to work hard and then you do get them, that's actually a really great feeling.
Yeah.
Like your first 10 minutes might be, what am I doing here? But then when you actually get them, you go, I got it,
Yeah, great.
Whereas like I was saying, your gig the other night, easy. I didn't really feel like I had to work very hard for it.
And like I said, they didn't go to the bar not because they didn't want to drink. They didn't want to take their eyes off you for 1 second. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I was up the front.
And it was good because I could tell a lot of people there haven't seen a lot of comedy.
No,
No,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm telling you, in Currumbin, I was telling people, when was the last time you saw a comedian for an hour? Never.
Yeah.
Never. Not in this
There's
area.
nothing
ever.
down here.
So
We
Yeah.
need to start something.
Yeah.
everyone I told would like, yeah, we're just going to see something new. This is going to be awesome. We couldn't wait for you to speak
And
and
what a
make us
great,
laugh.
it's a really great concept because they're in this great mood from sitting there laughing. You know, they've had their dinner, they've had time to digest it, they've had a great laugh, and then the band comes on. Ripper, they're in a top mood.
Give us
They're going to
a
have a great
massive
night. Yeah.
Side boobs.
So I
like
think, I reckon definitely
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
I reckon the concept's awesome.
Me
Because
too.
even me as a comedy fan, like I always listen to comedy podcasts, right? So I love just hearing them talk normally, not even cracking jokes, just comedy style people who are, you know, in it for a laugh in life.
Yeah.
What shit am I talking now?
I
forgot it as soon as I said it. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Not digging the ginger
us
drink now.
menstruating together.
Yeah.
Oh, no, okay.
You started menstruating too.
Yeah. It's not what I was going to say, but I forgot to ask you before. You drive from somewhere in Mullumbimby,
Yes.
right? The podcast I do listen to is the Joe Rogan Experience, okay? Yeah. And they're in LA, so they're constantly saying how they hang out at the all these comedy rooms.
Yeah.
There's a massive scene. So when you're driving alone to do an alone gig somewhere, you don't have what some of these big comedy cities in the world get, just to hang all your friends that you see every Thursday night because you're just hanging out.
That's right. Yeah.
Trying to get on those
Actually,
shows.
when I did the Canberra Comedy Festival this year, and it's the first time I've done my own festival show, and it was really great. But they have a thing; they have the late night club. So again, you're doing a festival show, you're on your own. You're just rocking up to your venue and doing your show, and you might see the person who was on before you, and you might briefly see the person who's coming on after you. But, you know, you've got a changeover of audiences. It's all very quick, you know. Anyway, they have this late night show where they basically ask everybody who's done a show or who's got a show the next day to come and do 5 or 10 minutes, and everybody can get a taste for them, you know, and go, I might go and see their show tomorrow or whatever. But it's late, you know, it starts at 11 o'clock. And Jason Byrne, you know Jason Byrne, the Irish comedian?
Yep.
He came in, he did a spot there and he'd done a show and he loved it because in the green room there were like 10 of us and he was going, this is so cool because I never ever have anyone in my green room. I'm always just on my own because he does giant theatre shows.
Wow.
Because he's really big
Really?
now. So he does giant theatre. So he goes, I might have my manager there or something, you know, and like I never get to hang out with other comedians. And
Wow.
I could see him, he actually, it's almost like he went, right, I'm talking to everyone for 10 minutes. He just moved himself around the room.
Right.
Yeah. And I went, wow, whereas see, I do lots of comedy clubs where there might be 3 or 4 of us hanging out, you know.
Right.
And then you get to watch other comedy too, you know, like you get to watch other live comedy,
It gives you thoughts for new bits or
you
something.
just enjoy it.
You're hanging around funny people and you're like, oh, I feel great. I feel like a part of something.
I'm interested to hear your start story. Like we're going to start, you know, we're working on a little bit of material together, aren't we? To do like, you know, an open mic night.
Not together.
No, not together. As in, we're going to go and you know, not together.
Don't want to get on stage together.
No.
No.
You'd be too
way.
funny. That's the thing. You'd actually make me laugh too much. I've done that before where I'm with someone supposed to doing like crowd work or something and the other guy is just hilarious.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you're too funny. I'm laughing at
Okay.
you. Anyway,
We're not doing it together. But
okay,
tell
so
us about your
okay.
story.
So I always was a fan of comedy. So I was always going and watching comedy. Just loved it. Never, ever, ever thought for 1 minute that I would do it. And then when I had my kids, I had pretty sort of high, well, they weren't high profile, but high stress, full on jobs before I had my kids. And then all of a sudden it's almost like you jump off a cliff, you know, like I used to work until 9 o'clock at night. It was really full on. And then I have my kids and bang, there's just this silence. I'm at home on my own with these 2 little babies. And I was incredibly bored. And we made the decision because Alex is away. Alex is my husband because he's away, you know, he's away kind of 8 months a year.
Really?
Yeah, not in a block, but, you know, all up.
Yeah, right.
Amazing.
So, you know, I was at home a lot on my own just with these kids and incredibly bored. So I started sort of writing a book. It also spun me out. I had only ever really been around my sister who had kids. I hadn't really spent a lot of time with kids, and it spun me out the things people say to you when you are pregnant and then pregnant with twins, and then when you have your twins. Like, people are just horrible. So, I just started writing this book. I was thinking, I'm going to write this book for women